For the love of God, everything in this video is for entertainment purposes. It is not to be taken seriously. I do not back any of these claims, and it is all for fun and banter. Okay, if you haven't lived under a rock, you're aware of Jeffrey Epstein and the situation surrounding him. But if for whatever reason your IQ is as low as the amount of titles Arsenal has won in the last decade, I'll quickly brief you on who he was. Jeffrey Epstein was like a wealthy American accountant, banker for the very, very elite. I'm talking about billionaires, celebrities, athletes, politicians. And he started out as a math teacher, transitioned into finance via very elite connections, became extremely rich through questionable money management for those elites, where his wealth led him to buying all sorts of outrageous things like an entire private island in the US Virgin Islands. He would also host all sorts of parties and networking events on his island, but behind the scenes, he lived a double life where he ran a long-term trafficking operation involving underage girls. He uses power and influence and a lot of hush money to silence a lot of his victims. But he must have hired Harvey Specter or some shit, because he hardly served any jail time. His case got revived in 2019. That's, I guess, when he offed himself in prison. And now recently the CIA finally released all the files, even if they were heavily redacted, but stuff like core documents from civil cases, deposition excerpts, flight logs. Now with all of that, I can start with the subject of this video. Obviously none of these players are guilty of any of these, but in this video I'm gonna list out a couple of players, even some managers who I feel like, you know, you wouldn't be surprised if you found their name on one of those files or one of those photos or one of those depositions, civil court cases and all that. Neymar. Well, for obvious reasons. In his prime, he was a party boy, a real party boy. And have you seen his following? I'm pretty sure he has a kid and a wife. I remember Troy Deeney was talking about in a podcast a while back how he was in Vegas with some of his boys, and he peeped that Ronaldinho and Neymar had all the girls from that bar just kicking it with them. Ronaldinho was not a good influence. Which leads me to the next footballer. I mean, come on, as entertaining as he was, the man was like the Maradona of partying. And it's common knowledge that he was frozen out of Barcelona by Pep for fear of poisoning the well for young Messi's development, which in hindsight, it was a very good decision. Because Ronaldinho, after leaving Barcelona, in my opinion, that was his peak. He just kind of dropped off from there. He kind of fell off from there. Alright, this one sounds crazy, but hear me out, y'all. Remember that era where Messi, Neymar, Ronaldo were all involved in some kind of tax scandal? Not in the same year, but at some point they were all just evading the tax collectors. Yeah, CR7 seems like a guy that would have Epstein as his personal banker, find him some questionably legal loopholes to save his ass, and, you know, probably become acquainted with him as well. Plus, with the SA charges that he magically made go away back in the day, he'd fit right in.
Habilita a Vinicius, vino para Benzema.
I bet you he'd even visit that island 15 times.
So, you know, let's not take the piss here.
If you know Adam Johnson, this is ball knowledge. Cut from the same cloth as Benzema. Even worse than that, he'd probably get a promotion working with Epstein. Next one is John Terry and Ryan Giggs. Now, these two Premier League legends honestly both have a... You know what? Scratch that. They'd probably both have to pay some massive settlement for being caught sleeping with someone's wife on there.
Again, Harry Kane.
Done it again! You dirty bastard! You've done it again!
Another crazy one. I know, our GOAT, yes, but you know what? A young Messi would have tagged along with Ronaldinho before he poisoned the well, because, you know what, he wouldn't have known any better. He was, what, 18, 19? Although his autism mode would probably flare up the slightest of female interaction. I mean, if you think about it, young Messi was low-key a party animal before he settled down with Antonella. Plus, as generational and as autistic as Messi is, the man was also evading the tax collectors with his offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands.
Celebrato Lamine Yamal.
I mean, come on, this one's a gimme. This one's the banker. It's the one that's never failed.
A no-brainer. This was the banker. This was the one that couldn't fail. This was one that's never failed.
You know what? I know where else he'd be a frequent regular at.
Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever my ones I have to get!
Although he'd have to be careful for his own safety. He's only 18. Papa Perez, you can't tell me all the shady under the table things Papa Perez has done. He's not somewhat acquainted with Epstein? Man, check those redacted CIA files again. I know he's in there somewhere. You know, he'd be there just for the Jaeger bombs, to be fair.
Hello. Fancy seeing you here.
Oh yeah, that fucking hornball wouldn't even need a Viagra or a honey pack if he was in there.
In that position, I just have to smash it.
PSA, Vinny, the Chelsea left wing position is all yours. I cannot take another game with Alejandro Garnacho or experimenting Pedro Neto on the left wing, and definitely not Jamie Gittins. Just take the 160 million offer. We'll even give you the key to the city. You know London is blue, Habibi.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
All right, last one is Angola content. I'm just joking. I'm trolling. And again, for the love of everything that is good, everything in this video is for entertainment purposes. It is not to be taken seriously. I do not back any of these claims. It is all for fun and banter.